Hey everyone, I'm popping on. It's Thursday for our mini training, and today we are going to go over 3 easy ways to get more water in your day. So I figured it would be worth starting off with why is it so important, right? So it's been shown if you can be hydrated, you can increase your athletic performance by 20%. It can also help with fullness levels and avoiding eating when you're not truly hungry. There's 1,000 other things it does for your body. Helps with bloated feelings. It keeps digestion moving. And the list goes on, and I can drop some more of those in the comments for you. But basically, we know our body is made up of a ton of water, so we need to drink a ton of it, right? Now, when I say a ton, it's relative per person. So how do we figure out what amount of water intake you should be drinking on a daily basis? So for example, if I weighed 160 pounds, my amount of ounces I would shoot for my daily recommendation would be 80 ounces. So that's something to think about. So it's taking your body weight and dividing it by half. So I really sit closer to 140. So mine is at least 70. And then getting a little, again, that's just a generic go-to formula, nothing crazy there. That's just your baseline bare minimum. Then there are some things to take into account. So for every 1 hour you train, you should probably add in another 15 ounces of water. For every coffee, juice, or tea that you have, that's around 8 ounces. You probably want to add in another 12 ounces of water. So that it can seem like a lot, right? If I really need to be consuming more 110, 120 ounces, then I have to also meet myself where I am. So if you're only consuming 60 a day, don't try to go to 120 tomorrow. Simply try to do 60 every single day for 2 weeks at a time, and then bump it up to 70 or maybe even 80 if you're feeling ambitious, and then live there again for 2 weeks and keep progressing until your daily recommended amount. It seems super slow, and I feel like drinking water is something that's so tangible and is such an immediate feedback. Your bottle's empty, so you can check it off your list. You did it, you can keep track. And it's super rewarding in that way, and you can feel better almost immediately. But I think it's important to still meet yourself where you are, because if you go from 60 to 120 tomorrow, you can probably do the 120 for a little bit of time, but eventually you might actually burn out from it and just be over it. And I don't want you to feel that way. So, hey Mary, how are you? Good to see you pop on. So just going over the importance of why we need to drink water and how to figure out your daily recommended amount. And so what are the 3 easy ways to get more water in your day? The first one is a tip that I can't express enough. It's front loading your water. So I don't know about you guys, but to me, it's kind of a daunting task. I don't know. I track my macros for the most part. And I keep track of a lot of things. I feel like I love geeking out on data, but just keeping track of water is not a fun time for me. I've never really been a fan. So something I do is take into account, I pick a water bottle. So say I do this one, I figure out how many ounces it is, and then figure out how many I need to have a day, and then just do that, right? I don't know, something about achieving 4 water bottles a day sounds a lot better than keeping track of today I did 63 and tomorrow I did 82 and the next day I did 71. It's just oh my God, let's keep life simple and this less stressful. And tell yourself you need to get 1 water bottle down before maybe you have your morning coffee, or I don't know, a lot of people don't have as much flexibility in the morning, but even if you can say 1 or 2 water bottles before you have lunch, if your total daily goal is 80 ounces, if you can get 20 to 30 done in the morning before you do anything else, drinking or eating wise, you are like crushing it for the rest of the day, because maybe you haven't worked out yet, so you're still gonna get probably a water bottle worth done there, and then you have the entire rest of the day. And I don't know about you guys, but I'm a little bit of a sleep diva, so if I have to wake up to pee, I am not a happy camper. So the more I can front load it and get all my bathroom experiences out of the way before bed, I am a much happier camper and better sleeper. So number one, definitely front loading. And again, meet yourself where you are. So if you don't really drink water to start for the day, start with one like 6 to 8 ounce glass before anything. And then you can slowly progress that to maybe 2 glasses or 1 water bottle, 2 water bottles, etc., etc. I think that would be really good. You know you've gone too far basically when your pee is like crystal clear. Like you don't need it to be like completely clear either, but you just want it to not be a dark yellow. So that's something to think about. And I might even have a resource on the color of your pee, and I can drop that down too if I remember. The second easy way to get more water in your day is to keep it accessible. This one is like a no-brainer, but I think we forget how much it can help us. So what I mean by that is if you work at a desk, keep one on your desk at all times filled if you can. Or if you go run errands for the day, like make sure you have one in your cup holder of your car, just so that it's like there with you. Now, I'm not saying you need to be like obsessed with it and carry it around with you all the time, but just, I think it's better to set yourself and have the option to drink it than none at all. So if like, for example, if I go check the mail or go for a walk, before I leave the house, I fill up a big water bottle and I leave it on the counter. So it's one of like the first things I see when I come in the house, because one, I do not want to carry it when I'm walking. It's just like 10 out of 10, don't recommend, not a big fan. But if you love that, you do you. But when I come in, I'm so thirsty, and not for nothing, I don't know about you guys, but our like fridge water is ice cold, which I love, but I cannot chug it. And when I come in from walking for like 40 or 60 minutes, I feel like I'm dying. And that like more cooler / not really room temperature, but definitely not ice cold, is so much more enjoyable to drink. So again, just keeping it accessible for you and like setting yourself up to do the thing, right? So if you always have your water bottle laying around, but it's empty, it's like, well, it's going to be really tough to hit your target, right? So just to stay on top of that and think about where you can set yourself up a little bit more maybe. And this is same goes for traveling, right? Like water's the first thing to go when people travel, because either they don't want to have to go to the bathroom on the plane, or they just have less accessibility to it because they're on a plane. So those are just things to think about. Keep it near you. Again, you don't have to be like, it doesn't have to be your baby, but it's helpful to have around for sure. And then the last way to get more water in your day, this is one that I've preached since I've started, and this might not work for everyone, and that's totally okay, but I am a big, big fan of treating yourself to a new water bottle. I can't tell you how many I've gone through, but it's one of those things like, if I'm having a hard time staying on top of my hydration, definitely like investing in one that you like think is cute or you really enjoy, or literally you just look at it and it makes you happy, like you're probably going to drink out of it more, you know, and you might want to have a little bit of a variety. Maybe you want some that have a straw, or some that have a handle, or some that don't. And I honestly like certain water bottles for certain things. So I think for the longest time, I just kept buying shaker bottles, and then I like learned there's really nice water bottles out there, whether it's like Yeti or Stanley or whatever. Exactly. Like, it's crazy how expensive those things have gotten, but man, I am a sucker for a cute one. So I feel like you're not going out and spending it. You could be spending that money on worse things. So if it's going to help you keep on track with your hydration, still huge fan. So those are my 3 tips to get more water in your day. So front loading as much as you can with it being comfortable. 2, keeping it accessible, kind of in your arm's reach at all times if you do get thirsty. And then 3, treating yourself to almost like investing in doing and committing to it. And I think that that can be super helpful. As I was writing out the outline for this, I was thinking to myself, I'm not really covering like all of hydration because there's so much more to it than just water. So stay tuned, and I will probably make that another mini training in the future where we cover like what encompasses electrolytes and how much should you be having and when to have it and what are my favorite brands and things like that. So I will get to work on that, but hopefully you found value in this today. I would challenge you to incorporate even just one of those things if you haven't done any of them yet, and do that for like a month or two and then try to add in the next thing. If adding all three in feels a little overwhelming, it's totally fine. We all have a lot of shit going on. So keep me posted. If you guys ever like realize something is really, really helpful, or maybe it didn't work for you, feel free to DM me. I love to hear about experiences and get feedback. I will make sure I post this to the Facebook group and download it and upload it to the YouTube page as well. So thank you guys so much, and I hope you have a great rest of your Thursday.